All right, yeah, we live. We live here in the smoky section with my man D-Lo. What's
Yeah,
goody,
what's
brody?
good? Chilling, man. Everything's cool. Everything's blessed. Can't complain. None. How you been, man?
I've been good, man. Yeah, I mean, again, like I was just like I was just saying before we started, man. Like I'm really thankful to have you back on. Um, it's it was really it was a really insightful talk last time we talked, bro. Like you know what I
Yeah,
mean. So it was
definitely.
just when you have a conversation that gets thought inspiring, that's valuable to me. Like you know what I mean. So I'm glad to have you back on, bro.
100%, man. Appreciate you, bro. I appreciate the conversation. It was dope.
Dude, and congratulations on your drop, man. It looked like it got a really good response from everybody, bro.
Oh, bro. Yeah, definitely, man. I appreciate that. It was, I would definitely say, man, the best drop thus far, man. And it's like, it's just crazy to hear, like, every time something comes out, like, oh, this is your best work yet. But I think, like, numbers wise, units wise, like, overall aesthetic and design wise, I think this has been like the best one by far, man. It did really well, bro. It did really well.
Yeah, that's like a that I think that's like just one of those feelings when you really put a lot of thought into what you're putting on the clothes, how you're displaying it, and it hits. Like everything is just hitting. Like you know what I mean? Kind of like even like when you're balling or you're hooping, it's like everything you're doing is coming out to fruition and it hits. Boom. That's what I kind of seen. I kind of seen that, bro. Because those pieces you put out were super fire, bro. I was like, yo.
Thank you.
I was like, yo, this is super fire. Okay. Uh, and you rocking some of the gear right now too?
Just the hat, man. This is actually a set. Like it was like the first sample piece I did, and
Okay.
everything else is in the process of being manufactured. So I'm just waiting for the gear to come in, man. Just waiting for it to come back in so I could start doing all my shipping and processing, packaging, and all that. So, but in the meantime, yeah, man, it's the only piece I got. I'll be wearing it proudly, man.
Yeah, that's right, though. That's right.
Hell yeah.
Uh, yeah, man. It's still really like inspiring to know that there's 805 brands that are really heavily 805 supported and from other places too, supported from all these other people. I know a lot of people like who fuck with Mercy Clothing, like you know what I mean. So it's like, yeah, it's super tight to see you guys get that love, man.
Oh man, it's a blessing for sure. Especially like you said, man, it being a hometown thing. It's no better support and love than what you get from the home, man, from the hometown. So it's a blessing, bro. It's definitely a blessing.
So one thing I don't think I really touched on it last time,
Hmm.
but so being able to see you put preparation into a drop, watching you execute, right? So there's preparation and execution. Now, for a lot of people, I feel like is now what do you do? Like for you personally, is it something like what would you say is going to be your next steps now moving forward?
For me, man, it's kind of like it's almost like I can't say like I'm already working on like my next like piece of work, but I kind of am like in the same vein. So it's pretty much for me. While my gear's being while everything's kind of being manufactured and everything, this is kind of like my time to like I guess it's kind of just like rejuvenate and kind of just get my mind back on track in terms of like uh just looking for design and looking for the next type of inspiration to run with. Um, and That's pretty much how it is until for like two or 3 weeks or so, and it's kind of just like because all the work is out of my hands now. All my manufacturers have my pieces, like my the guy who does my screen printing, the guy who does my embroidering, the lady that stitches in my neck tags. Like they all have all the pieces now, so it's like it kind of feels like mission accomplished in a sense. It's like
Mm-hmm.
my hands are finally clean of this this piece of work that I've been working on for X amount of months, and so now it's kind of just kind of looking but not looking for like the next kind of inspiration, because it's kind of hard for to like to search for inspiration. That shit just kind of just hits you at random times. So it's kind of just like staying ready in a sense. So that's kind of it's just like a reoccurring cycle that just like comes back. So it's just like for now, I'm kind of like chilling, but it's like my mind is still like the wheels are still turning, you know, looking for the next type of the next wave of shit that I'm trying to like, you know, be inspired by to put out some new work.
Yeah, because a lot of people, you know, I feel like, especially even for, so I know a lot of heads who might be in the clothing game, and they might not be exactly like all the most artistic, like, you know what I mean, but they do know styles, and they do know, like, they can see certain things, so, you know, they have this creative inspiration. And sometimes I feel like, you know, once they get out a certain amount of ideas, they launch it, it does good, whatever. It's like they still don't know what to do next. You know what I mean? Is it like, do I keep grinding this gear a little bit more, or do I go ahead and start moving forward? Because I feel like it's kind of generic, bro. You'll always hear people be like, "Oh, I'm already working on my next drop, bro." Like, you know, like you hear that a lot. You know, you hear
Yeah,
that a lot from people like, "Oh, I'm already on my next drop." It's like, you know, you don't just kind of chill for a little bit, like, you know, just kind of sit and ponder, like, you know, like, what would look good with this, or, you know, see how fashion is moving, like, you know what I mean, like it might be moving into certain colorways or certain styles, you know, with
but
stress super popping for a while, like, you know what I mean. That was a shit from like 2 decades ago, so I don't know. uh no, it's dope. So like what would you say is some of your big pulls for inspiration right now?
um, man, that's kind of that's hard to kind of like pinpoint and just say like where it's like directly coming from because it's so many different things for me at least. Like even how you were saying like how people just say, oh yeah, I'm already working on my next shit, and it's like I don't know. Everybody operates kind of different, but for me, like I like to sit and ponder on it. Like I still have like my whole mood board from that last drop, you know, kind of still up, just so I can still look at it and just see like, okay, did I max out on this? You know what I mean? Like, or is there some shit here that I didn't even catch last time through that can now like kind of spearhead the next wave of shit, you know? So I like to sit and think and just make sure I maxed out on it, you know, even though like some people can kind of say it's bad because you're still pondering on the same idea that you already finished and you know you're kind of like reopening a healed wound by you know what I mean because it's kind of that shit's really like it's not I can't say emotional but it's like a nerve-wracking kind of like process, man. Like it's a lot of
Mhm.
emotion that goes into it, at least for me, man. And it's a lot of like wrestling with your mind, a lot of tug of war here and there, and it's like 'cause you have to at the end of the day come to like a finalized piece of work that you're going to put out that you know has to in the creator's aspect like be receptive, you know, like you have to make sure your point gets across and whatever you're trying to portray is like accurate, you know what I mean, and you kind of get this one shot once you kind of finalize it and put it out, that's it. But as for inspiration, man, my mind kind of circles around the same stuff. I get a lot of it from sound too, man. Just like listening to new music and stuff, hearing different phrases and hearing different terminology for stuff opens my mind to like another realm of like of just understanding. And it kind of, for some odd reason, man, I can just convert like when I hear something, you know, or I hear like a dope quote or you know I hear a song that's like I've never heard before, and it's like for some reason it just gives me like a visual. It's like a visual aid for me as well, and it kind of
Mhm.
just like communicates itself into like a form of like an image, you know what I mean? And I'll jump on Pinterest and start like searching down the rabbit hole for a bunch of different images and stuff, and I start drawing up my own images, doctoring up my own pieces, and then that's just kind of how some of this shit starts, man. And for right now, my inspiration it's kind of just where it's always at, man. I'm into like more grunge, more edgy kind of uh like stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Super hard to explain. I'm trash at explaining that. It's just more of just like when I see something that I know I like, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, boom, like that's a cool way to run with. That's a cool like wave to run with. And that's just kind of how it's been, man. It's just I just take inspiration from anything I possibly can. Like I'm always like looking at art or just trying to see the art in something. Whether I'm, you know, here or traveling or being somewhere else, it's just kind of just like a constant thing.
Yeah, no, the way that you compared it to listening to sound
Yeah.
is really that one hits for me, bro, because you know I'm a dancer,
Right.
you know, and I hear like I always talk about this shit with my dance buddies. Like, you know, we hear sound and then we make something from
Right.
that reaction. Like our body, like it's a really weird connection. And so even that's kind of like what got me inspired to start doing more stuff with clothing and actually like get into that realm, because it's like, yo, I can hear something and make it. So I'm visually seeing something in my head, and we style our own clothing all the time. And every time I see our stuff on stage, I'm like, damn, what if we added this to it and did that to this? And so it's like I'm already designing a new idea just by looking at something that I had created. You know what I mean? And so like
Yeah.
you're also saying like, are you maxing out on an idea?
Right.
It's like, you know, sometimes you get, like we even said that last time, was like, you know, sometimes you look at something, you're like, damn, that's fresh, but what if you did this to it? Like, you know what I mean? Or what if you took that shirt and put it with these pants and with these shoes? Like that'd look fresh, you know? And
Right.
that's why, like, you know, I've been riding on the same idea of designs and stuff and look for the past few years, because it's like I feel like I haven't maxed out on it yet. Each idea that I come out with and design that I've dropped has been, people like are receptive to it. I'm like, fuck, I can keep kind of chewing on that bone a little bit. You know what I mean? I can gnaw on that bone a little bit. So
Hell yeah.
dude, I get it, man. It's always hard to explain like where creativity comes from, because it's so like,
So fast.
yeah, it's so much, and you know, people get into the whole consciousness thing, and you know, that's a whole rabbit hole itself, just even thinking about that, even talking about it.
Hell yeah.
But that's dope, man. Yeah, man. No, that was one of the big reasons though too. I wanted to get you on, bro. I wanted to be able to at least congratulate you and be like, you know, be real supportive. I'm trying to be more supportive of all the local brands. Like I want to get the homies from Retour on here. Like I've had Byron on here, but I want to get the homie Ryan Yuri from on here too. So
Yeah. Those are the homies, man.
yeah, man, it's got to be all up, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Because like if we ain't gonna support us, who's gonna support us? Like, you know what I mean?
That's a fact, bro. It starts here, man. It starts right here.
For sure, dude. Yeah, there was something else. I'm trying to think of it right now. I'm fucking blanking on it. Um. So if looking back now, right? Looking back, and you, because this is something too that I wanna start like seeing if people would be interested in. But like, would you be up to now start sharing your story more on like on group levels? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because I've seen some stuff to kind of paint out. I've seen some stuff with the women lately in the business world where they're having like, these big groups of business owners meet up. Like, you know what I mean? And they're supporting each other's businesses.
Right.
So why can't we do that? You know what I mean? Like on a bigger scale, like the boys and the girls, maybe. Or maybe even just the fellas to start off with. Like, you know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah.
Would you ever be open to something like that, man?
Bro, 100%. 100%. Because that's just that just helps speed up the process of just, you know, overall growth in this area. And there's so many unanswered questions out there for a lot of people who are you know, going down this path of rather it be, you know, dance, or rather it be designing, or rather it be music, or whatever the case is. You never know what you could really pull from you know, a group think tank. You know what I mean? And on top of that, we're all from the same area, so we kind of endure a lot of the same, you know, hardships or issues or upbringings. You know what I mean? In a sense, so we can kind of all relate. So it's like, you can take way more out of a conversation from somebody that's from your area rather than watching an interview from fucking Meek Mill, or, you know what I mean, or somebody that's like popping. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, those guys speak a lot of truth. Not knocking that at all, but I just feel like it's more the message is more receptive when it's like coming from somebody from your actual area that's doing the same things you're doing. You know what I mean? We're literally living the same thing. We're just two different beings, two different entities. You know what I mean? So I'm 100% down for that, man. I'm down to. I can learn from. You know what I mean? It's an opportunity for everybody in that sense. So 100% down, and it's just a share of like resources and who does this for you and who does that for you, and now everybody's kind of like plugged in, and you have all these resources to now you know uh try to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. Because I just feel like that's one of the main issues is lack of resource. That's like one of the main things why people can't get started on things, or at least give something a shot. You know what I mean? Rather they can see if they actually like it or not. Because that's the most important thing, is actually trying the shit. You can't let somebody tell you what the mountains look like and then just believe that's what the mountains look like. You got to go see the mountains for yourself to understand that. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of how I see things, how I felt about things for a long time. So I'm 100% in on that, man, for sure.
I think, I think what's really one of our, it's a weird like stigma type of weird thing where it's kind of like people have this idea of, some people I think have this idea of, if I tell you where I get my designs done, if I show you this guy, you're going to beat me in life. Like, you're going to beat me. Like, they have this weird thing, and it's like, no, dude, like, we could have two completely different styles of clothing, right? We could have two different group networks of people who buy our clothing. Like, my customer base right now is Japan. Like, most people who buy my clothing is from Japan. And so I'm like, okay, cool. So I kind of, help them out over there. And it's like, cool. But so for me, I kind of want to, because I know you had talked about like creating a label or creating like this hub of having people come and meet together and exchange ideas. And it's like, maybe after this whole COVID thing can settle out and we can kind of be in bigger groups again, we should do that, man. If you'd be up for it, bro. I'd like to do that with you, bro.
Definitely, bro. We'll work that out for sure, man. And yeah, it's like that whole beating you out thing, bro. It's like crabbing above your mentality, man. Like it's so much out there for everybody to eat off of. Like I'm certain that that's not going to be the case. And if that's what you're worried about, you know what I mean, then you're probably doing this for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? Like if you're just kind of trying to just get a quick buck, like there's no way that your craft is going to really live that long. You might, everybody hits that hot start, that hot streak when they start out, but it's like, where are you going to be in 3 years from now, 4 years from now, 5 years from now? Like, how are you going to be able to withstand that and continue to pump out, product that's going to be marketable and people are going to actually want to spend their money on and stuff like that? You know what I mean? So it's a whole different, like, it's just a different kind of ball game, man, that I think a lot of people miss. And being like that is not the way, man. You can't. Your biggest concern can't be, oh, if I tell this guy, who does my embroidering, now I'm gonna lose out. Like it's way too much out there, way too much getting for you to worry about that type of shit, man.
And I'm kind of ruthless. I'm like, well, that just means you suck. That you just like, you not only suck as a human, but that means you need to, because if you're going to be so competitive, if we're going to the same guy and my designs are beating yours, then that means you suck. So maybe you should rethink what you're doing, or maybe kind of dive deeper into it, or maybe have more confidence in it, or I don't know. There's a plethora of things you can do, you know what I mean? But if you're really thinking that way, then, then businesses that aren't good, they fail. If it's like a house built with straw. If a little bit of adversity comes its way and it folds, that means your house sucks, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're cool. You just, whatever you're doing is just not right. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't like to be ruthless. Like, you know what I mean? So I'd rather just be like, yo, dude, you can use the same guy who makes my design,
Facts.
like, or hey, like I always, like, dude, on Twitter, whenever my dude posts up his stuff, I'm like, yo, get your designs from him. Like, he's fucking amazing.
Hell yeah.
And he's a dancer too, so it's like, you know, I support the homie who dances. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I want to start, and I'm going to start hitting up some more Oxnard designers too, man. Like some guys who can do some cool graphic design and stuff.
Yeah, I know a couple, man. Sometimes I feel like I get annoying to my dude that does my work, Frankie, man. I send so many people to him, and I'm like, man, like, hey, I apologize, bro. Like, but I'm trying to, like, you know, that's money in your pocket, and I'm trying to just help push the culture forward. So, you know, bear with me, man. Bear with me. You need a couple. You need an extra set of hands. Let me know. I'll come through and help.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So it's like, you know, I feel like the resources, there's so much resources, but we have this mirage of lack of resources because people just don't want to communicate with each other. They don't want to share. They think that the world is so limited and money is limited and wealth is limited. They think all these, you know, things. It's like, no, dude, like Oxnard's growing by the minute.
It is.
It's growing by the minute, dude. So if your customer base is purely Oxnard, you will never run out of customers. There's plenty of people, bro.
That's a fact, bro. That is a fact.
You know, and if you're thinking worldwide, I mean, there's a kid born every second, so you're never gonna run out of customers, bro. It's okay. Like, just relax. It's all right.
Right.
You know, because I get it. Like, I'm just in it for the art, you know, and I know that's a big thing for you too. You know, so it's just like I don't try to think that way.
Right.
Listen, man. I don't want to hold you up too long, right? I definitely did want to get you on here, though. Congratulate you on your drop. Is there anything you want to plug in? Any dates? Anything? Or what's our D-Lo gym for the episode?
Man, just shit, man. Stick to it. That's always just my go-to mentality, man. It's just stick it out, man. Whatever it is, you know, whatever the situation is, bro. Whether it's you know, you're designing like we always talk about, whatever path you're kind of running down. It's kind of just you just got to stick to it, man. Stick to what you believe in. You know, don't let somebody else kind of manipulate or tell you how you should operate. You know what I mean? Because projections are a real thing, man. People cast their projections because of their experiences in their lives upon you, and your situation is totally different. You're a completely different person, completely different mindset, completely different belief system. So it's like you and what you believe in your mind is all you really need to really just like push through. And you just got to keep pushing, man. So that's always my go-to, man. Like, whether you're having a bad day or, you know, you're working on music or you're working on designing something, like, you just got to push through. Keep that mindset right. Be optimistic. And just stick to your guns, man. That's it. That's always there.
My man D-Lo, bro. Again, dog. Thank you again. Congratulations on your drop, man. And I really do appreciate you coming back on the show.
Man, thank you for having me, bro. Always good chopping it up with you, man. Always good.
All right, we'll do another one, brother. We'll do another one soon, man.
With it, man. Just let me know. I ain't nothing but a phone call away, bro.
For sure, bro. Everybody watching, thank you very much. We'll be hollering at y'all later.
Appreciate y'all.